Hey guys, welcome. My name is Luca, and this is my channel. I've been wanting to do these types of videos for a while, but I didn't really know how to start or what the vibe is, so here I am. I finally decided to do it. I was just sitting outside and just enjoying the beautiful weather, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do it, I'm just gonna record. I think this past week, I've just been feeling a little bit sad almost. I don't really know the feeling in particular, but just emotional. Just a lot of thoughts running through my mind. I don't feel any better talking about it to people. Um I don't know, I just feel kind of misunderstood, and it's nothing wrong with the person, it's just me. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna give advice on the internet because I love to give advice. Anybody who knows me knows I love to give advice. I've learned a lot, even though I'm pretty young. And I love to help people because I don't want anyone to go through what I go through sometimes, just like any other people. So, today, what I wanted to talk about was advice that I have learned from men. And I'm very passionate about this topic because I hold it near and dear to my heart. In my age group, everybody, the hot topic is guys, it's relationships, it's talking stages, situationships, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've had my fair and share of situationships, and I've had some relationships, and I definitely learned a lot from it. I've definitely changed, and especially recently, I feel like I've gained more and more wisdom. I'd like to share it. Start off with this. In my friend group and everybody who knows me, one joke that we have is that I have really high standards with men. The men you choose are just a reflection of you. And that's hard to hear, but it's true. And that's not saying that every man I've chosen is the most perfect, beautiful man to ever walk the planet. It's quite the opposite. But it was a reflection of my mindset at that time. And yeah, it's hard to hear, it's hard to look at, it's hard to reflect, but it's true. So, if you lower your standards, you're simply saying, I'm okay with the bullshit. I'm okay with you doing this. And then you're gonna be like, why did I get into the situation in the first place? Because who wants to be in a bad relationship? Not me, and not you, nobody else. It's just settling. Let me give you a good example. I was in a relationship of 8 months. Deep down, I knew something was off, but I didn't know if it was him or if it was me. That's where the standards come in. Because I thought that I'm asking for too much. I thought I was asking for too much of him, and that I'm too young to have these sort of standards, and that it's unrealistic. And my friends, I have this one friend, I love her, but she's always talking about how my standards are way too high. And this was before him, right? And I was always laughing with her. I'm like, yeah, my standards are pretty high, yeah. I never changed them though. I never changed them. Why? Because I know that it's either somebody's gonna meet those standards or they're not, and I'm not gonna get with anybody. Because I have self respect. I'm not saying people who have lower standards don't have self respect. But I have self respect enough to not change my standards, what I think are my standards. You know? I'm not lowering my standards, because that's lowering my self respect. If I so quickly lower my standards for a random man that comes into my life, what does that say about me? And how fast I'm willing to change my life? For a man, of all things? No. You don't do that. And when you put yourself in that form of thought, that's when everything changes. When somebody tells you, why are you lowering your standards? And you're like, it's unrealistic. Nothing's unrealistic. Nothing is unrealistic. Sure, having $1 million by tomorrow may be a little unrealistic. But a man being consistent for over 5 months and getting you flowers without you asking is not asking for too much. And I'm talking to myself too. I don't know if this is necessarily what you should do, but this is what I've been doing. Um, I put a mark on my words. So in the beginning of anything to do with a guy, if it's serious, I'm like, just so you know, I have pretty high expectations. And without fail. Without fail, they're like, that's fine. I'll handle it. I can handle it. I got it. Don't worry about me. I'm like, okay, okay. And every time. I have never had one encounter where somebody goes, really? What are they? I don't know if I can meet that in the beginning, initially. Because guys think they can handle women. They think they can handle all types of women. Every guy. Not every guy can handle every type of woman. And I found that for me, the higher the expectations, the harder it is for a guy to handle you. Why? Men are so fucking insecure. No, some guys genuinely do this, but they're not gonna like outwardly express their insecurities to you. But the way they react when you want to communicate, when you want to be mature, when you want to have a conversation, when you want to talk about a problem, shows you how insecure they are. Even if you don't lower your standards and the man cheats on you because he can't handle you, does that mean you lower your standards? No, we don't lower our standards because one day somebody is going to be like, damn, that girl has her shit together, and they're going to love it. And that's the man for you because he can handle it. And I haven't met that one for me yet, but I know he's somewhere out there. And I'm also okay with not meeting that man right now, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, because I know fate. And I know that when my time happens, it's going to be time. And all these lessons with men, will finally add up and make sense to one person. Sometimes you aren't ready for your person, but you also know, even though that wasn't my person, even though they cheated on me, even though they got with 10, 12, 16, 30, 100 people, that doesn't mean I lower my standards. Alright, moving on. So, this one is consistency is the real love. This one's pretty big. And this one I actually recently learned. We all think that buying you things, telling you all these words, being loyal, not adding any girls on Instagram, on Snapchat, on TikTok, not snapping, not talking to any girls. That's love. And that's how you guys are going to stay together, and how you guys are going to be loyal to each other forever, and how the perfect relationship is going to come. Might be true for some people, but in order to have the most successful relationship, is to find somebody who's consistent. A year minimum. Have I been in a relationship for over a year? No. How do I know it's over a year? Because the signs start showing after like 8 months. How do I know this? Because I was in a relationship for 8 months. And I know that not every single relationship has the same timeline. So I'm doing a ballpark just to be safe of 1 year of consistency. Now, what does consistency mean? Consistency doesn't mean that they need to be clingy or that they need to buy you all these items and do all these crazy things for you because that's consistent. Um, no, because also everybody comes from different backgrounds, right? Like somebody just doesn't have enough money to buy you the same thing every day, right? Not every single person can buy you flowers every single week because they simply can't afford it. So you can't be like, "Oh, they're not consistent with buying me." No. They just if you know they can't afford it, that's something else. You know what I mean? And is that he stays consistent with communication, with being loyal, whatever that means to you, with his friends, with his hobbies, with his drive, with his motivation, with how he treats people. If he's consistent with that, that's how a real strong relationship is going to be. Because you know how it goes. Most guys, they text you saying, I love you. I love this about you. You're so perfect. I'm never going to leave you. And what do? They pack it up in 3 months. I've been there. Everybody has. Come on. What does that mean? They're not consistent. And thank God, they packed it up at 3 months instead of 3 years. If they're nice, if they're close with their family, they act like they're nice and close with their family for 3 months. And then all of a sudden, he starts trauma dumping about how his mom treats him like this and how his dad did this when he was younger and he has problems with this. Babe, that's not consistency. That's a liar. The second you see those flags, the second you run. You run and you do not look back. Because they're only going to get worse. And what are you going to get? More attached. Yes, you're going to get more attached. And what is that going to do? It's going to make it harder to leave. Yes. And then it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's going to be harder and harder to leave. And then you're not going to leave. And then you're going to be with a piece of shit for the rest of your life. If a man constantly treats you good, if a man doesn't lie, or even better, if a man lies to you about something about himself or about his ex or something in the beginning of your relationship, and then later on, as he gets more comfortable, he switches the story and tells you the truth, you already know what I'm going to say. Because you know what's going to happen. He's going to cheat on you, and then he's going to be like, well, actually, I didn't cheat on you. I was just really drunk, and she was really drunk, and it just happened. And it's not cheating. And then in 2 months, it's going to be, well, I wasn't drunk, actually. And what are you going to do? You can't do anything about it because that was 2 months ago. There are way too many men out there who lie in the beginning, and then once they start getting more comfortable, they change the narrative and they expect you to be okay with it. Which most girls are. And that's why I'm here making this video. Because they think they can step all over you. These men think women are so easy. And therefore, that's why they treat you like shit. Oh, why does this man treat me like this? Why does everybody treat me like this? Because you let them. It's easy to control. You're easy to manipulate. You're easy to get lied to. That also goes both ways. You, as a woman, should be consistent too. I'm not saying that men should do the whole relationship and girls should just sit there and look pretty. I do think that you shouldn't be lying to a man and then switching up your story later. That's not respectful for yourself and for anyone else. It's good for yourself. It's good for your own mental sanity, and it's good therapy work to be accountable from the jump, even if it's not good. I mean, if I were to get in a relationship, I would most definitely be fully honest about everything I've done wrong in my relationships. Because I most definitely have. I most definitely did so many things that I'm aware of that's bad, and I'm sure there's many more that I'm not aware of. And unfortunately, I can't take accountability of that, but I'm aware of the things I did bad, and I can try and fix them, or at least be accountable for it. Obviously, it's not that easy to fix something like outside of a relationship when you were in one, if it's about being in a relationship, but if you can try and be aware of something that you've done wrong in a relationship that's personal, try and fix it before you get into another one, right? Then you can be consistent with your new partner, right? Another thing could be mood swings, right? Like being like, really calm and put together in the beginning, like putting on a facade almost. Like, yes, like I understand, like, looking cute for like a first date or something, and then like naturally just being like, less like not classy, just like not wearing like super fancy clothes or like wearing a ton of makeup, but you did on the first date, and like you don't usually, that's different. But like if you like try and act like type A but you're actually type B, and then your type B shows 2 months later, that's not being consistent. And the man is not going to believe you either. Because men, they're going to catch on. And they're going to, I don't know if they'll necessarily talk to you about it, but they're definitely going to remember it. And they're going to be a little more suspicious about other things that you say. That's advice number 2. Stay consistent. That goes both ways. But especially for men, remember, let them stay consistent. And if they aren't consistent, leave. Now, this one, third, last one for this video. This one is the most important one, at least for me. Your energy and your power is the most expensive thing there is. Your power and your energy and what you give to other people and what you take away from yourself, most importantly, you decide who you want to give it to, and that will either be good or bad karma for you. There's nothing more important than your peace. Nothing. Because no matter who comes your way, peace stays right here. Men are supposed to make us happy, make us fulfilled, make us in love, not make us stress and overthink and be sad and depressed and anxious. The question you have to ask is, are they protecting my peace? Are they adding on to my life? Or are they just ruining my energy? You don't want to be ruined because of a man, especially your energy. Your energy is the only thing that should not change. Well, actually, it's the only thing that should stay consistent no matter what. Because, again, like I said, no man should be ruining your peace. The amount of times that I've over-explained to a man, I've over-analyzed, I've fought with a man over some bullshit, I've wasted my time fighting with a man or thinking about how to say something or texting them or calling them or hanging out with them, trying to explain something so simple when I could be chasing my goals, studying, like doing my hobbies, literally anything else. I'm here explaining something to a man. I learned that the hard way. Explaining something once to a man, fine. Explaining the same thing the second time? Third time? Fourth time? What are we doing? And I was that person. I was that exact person that I'm talking about right now. I would explain something once. Oh, maybe they don't know. Second time. Oh, they're trying, but I feel like I can push them a little bit more. Third time. What am I doing? Most men come into your life for a reason. That's why I don't really agree with every man you've been with was a waste of your time or was a mistake, because nothing is a mistake in your life. If it came to your life, it came in for a reason and it taught you a lesson. Sure, you could have gotten other things done, but they definitely taught you a lesson that you would want to learn now rather than when you're deeper into your stuff and you don't have time to learn those type of lessons. If I never got into a relationship, I would have never known what I want. And I would have never known, damn, I need to protect my peace more in the future. I would have never known what I wanted. I would have never known, hey, I'm not saying what I want more than once. Because if you can't hear me once, you're not going to hear me the second time. And you're definitely not going to hear me the third time. That goes back to not changing your standards. That being said, protect your peace. Because if a man snatches your peace, they're going to snatch everything. It's not going to benefit you in any way. Promise. If you can't think about it for yourself, think about it like this. Men don't like it when girls are obsessed. And why are most girls obsessed? Obsessed with men. Usually. Little to no hobbies. No big goals or passions in life. Friends are similar. You are who you surround yourself with, right? Even men. That's usually the pattern I see. Being obsessed with men, like, it's low-key really exhausting. Can't lie. I was in that spot. And that's exactly why. Because I barely had any hobbies. I surrounded myself with the same exact people. And I mean, I was always a good student, but like school wasn't really a priority at that time. And I didn't have a job. So it kind of made sense, right? But also, after every man, I just felt like crap. Why? Because they treat me like shit. Why? Because I was so obsessed with them. They don't care about you if you're obsessed with them. They care and they start being obsessed with you once you're not obsessed with them. And yeah, you can like the guy, but don't show him that you like him like that. Obviously reply to him once in a while, yeah, but girl, have your own life, protect your peace, have respect, have hobbies, focus on yourself and your goals, achieve your goals. Don't just say stuff and not go through with them, because men love it. Men love it. I've only gotten a, a pat on the back, not only from myself, but from men once I started having my life. Once I started actually doing something, that's when men like it. Men have way more respect for you once you start doing things. You know what I mean? And not only are you going to get respect from men, but you're also going to get respect from you. From you. You're going to have self respect.